Chamber will come to order. Welcome everyone to the East Brunswick Township Council meeting for July 8th. Will everyone please rise if you can. Pledge allegiance to our flag and our nation and remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Lawful, please call roll and then read our statement of adequate notice.
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilman Wendell.
Present.
Councilwoman Winston.
Here.
Councilwoman Zembicki.
Here.
And Council President McAvoy.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen.
Here.
Administrator Joseph Crisculo.
Here.
And Township Attorney Anthony Iacoca.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, and also filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, you have before you Resolution 24-209, adopting the meeting minutes from our June 24th meeting. May I have a motion for
Motion
acceptance?
approved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any need for correction or clarification? Seeing none, Ms. Lawful, please call roll.
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zembicki.
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Council, we have three ordinances for a second reading and a public hearing. Ms. Lawful, please read ordinance 24-17.
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 158, Section 15, entitled Drug-Free School Zone Maps of the Code of the Township of East Brunswick to update the drug-free zone maps.
Thank you. Is there any council discussion?
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
I'm going to open this up to the public on this matter and this matter only. That would be 24-117. I'll close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Wendell.
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zembicki.
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Ms. Lawful, please read ordinance 24-18.
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 166 entitled Property Maintenance Code of the Code of the Township of East Brunswick to add provisions for bamboo regulations.
Is there any council discussion on this matter?
Yeah, I'd just like to know how we are going to handle notification to the certain property owners that may have bamboo growing on their property, and what is the abatement procedure going to be?
Yeah, it is outlined in the ordinance. It will be done through property maintenance. Ms. Veit will handle that. We, as of right now, we have two or three requests from adjoining property owners. They will be noticed. They'll be given time period to remediate the situation, and then before going to fine them
Okay.
so they'll get a notice.
They'll be given
notice
adequate notice.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Just like if they were getting their grass, the grass was too
May I
high.
have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I'm going to open this up to the public on this matter only. Ordinance 24-18. Does anyone wish to address the council president, please?
Yeah, Rich and Lisa Baylock, 6 Miller Avenue, East Brunswick. We've been there 45 years, and we have the bamboo issue. I'd like to see a list, if I can, of who's getting the summons or whatever they're getting. I've been fighting 10 years with my neighbor on this, and it's finally being done.
If you give me their address, I'll make sure that Ms. Veit has the information
Okay.
and it's put on the... If you want to wait till after the meeting, give it to me, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah. Yeah, and I'd like to know if he doesn't take care of it, do I resolve it, or it's about 5 feet from my pool now.
He'll, in the ordinance it says, I'm sorry. In the ordinance itself, there's provisions on how it gets resolved.
Okay.
Right.
All right, thank you.
But if you give me the address, I'll make sure that Jill has it.
We'll do that after the meeting, Mr.
Yeah.
You
Ayla.
hear me? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, Mr. Criscuolo was quick with the last name of Villette. That's Jill Villette. A lot of our residents know her as Jill. Oh my God, Jill's doing a great job. Jill.
Yeah.
So that's who is in charge of taking care of as we move forward in this direction. Anyone else wishing to address Council President on this matter and this matter only? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Councilman,
Do we have a motion and a second?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiggy?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. And Ms. Lawful, please read ordinance 24-19.
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 209, Section 62, entitled Schedule 23, Speed Limits of the Code of the Township of East Brunswick, to amend the speed limit along Fern Road to Cranberry Road from 35 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour.
May I have a motion for this?
So,
And a second?
Second.
Any council discussion on this one? Second reading, we have, just so so that everyone knows, we have been discussing this, but by law, we have 2 readings. I'm going to open this matter to the public for their comments for ordinance 24-19. Sir.
Good evening. My name's Eric Dager. I live at 1 Buffalo Run, which is on the corner of Fern Road between Old Stage and Cranberry. And I totally agree with the change on the other side. I bicycle through there, ride through there. I've been living in town at that site for 39 years. So I've seen, Fern Road drastically change over the years. What I would like to see is consideration of the other side between Old Stage and Cranberry to 25 also. This area is about 1/3 of a mile long. It has limited shoulders. It has a blind hill in it. To make it consistent, 25 the whole way, similar to what you guys did in Reaver and Fresh Ponds and all the others, just seems to make sense. Like on the other side, we've had accidents over the years. There was one right on my corner of Fern and Buffalo last fall. We've had others over the years in various areas. There's a bike-friendly lane, so we have cyclists like myself going up and down that road, and it's not a full shoulder, it's a narrow shoulder. On the road, in that little section, we have a fire station. We have a temple, and now a church as part of that temple, which has an exit and an entrance driveway to both of those facilities. There's more daily and evening activities in that facility now than there had been over the last couple of years. There are 4 intersections, 2 on each side of the rise of the hill for the Buffalo and Deer Run, and then for the other 2 developments up closer to Cranberry. There's a new development, as you guys know, coming in on Fern Road that's going to add another intersection to that, situation. Along that road, there are 8 private driveways with multiple school bus stops, one specifically at Deer Run for all the students, and then at least 2 or 3 of the other houses have special stops for their school-age children. There is also an autistic child right on the street. Signs are up there posted for that. And what we see is excessive speeding constantly. During rush hour, people flow up there and fly up that road like crazy. If you come out there in the morning as the traffic builds up towards Helmeta Boulevard on Old Stage Road, everybody uses that as a shortcut to get up to Cranberry Road. It is, insane how people drive up there. You pull out from that street going up the road, we're coming out of a 25-mile street with a stop sign. You're not going to do 40 miles an hour right away. People will tailgate you, and they will pass you, even though it's a double yellow line. They'll go totally ticked off if you don't zoom up that road. We're going to have an improvement now on that intersection. We're going to have, I believe, a left turn lane to help make the access onto Cranberry Road, much better. It's also going to become more attractive to these people who are cutting through the area to figure they can get now on Cranberry Road quicker, because right now it's a single lane, and if you don't have access from somebody coming, stopping, or no traffic coming from the other side of Fern, people get backed up on that intersection. So what we see is basically the same dangerous situation that you presented to lower the other part of the block from 35 to 25. And I think that it would make sense for the safety of the walkers. We have a lot of walkers in the neighborhood now. Since the pandemic, people come down from the other developments, walk through where we live on Fern Road. People always crossing the street there. We have tons of cyclists that come up and down that road. And then when you're coming down into any of those residential streets, which are 25 miles an hour, you can't come through that turn at anything faster than 5 or 10 miles an hour because you can't see. So I would basically, ask the council and the mayor to reconsider not changing the other, but adding that section of Fern Road to the limit of 25 miles.
Right, at the beginning of your comments, you used the word consideration, right? And then you just finished up with consider. And that's what this council does with regard to the mayor and his central administration. You use the word exploring. There are so many roads in this town that we can only do so many at a time. However, Mr. Criscuolo, you don't need to comment right now, but if you want to.
Yeah, we'll do an investigation.
That's it.
We'll check it out, and if it warrants it, traffic safety, the police department, our engineering department, our engineer will take a look at it.
There's a lot of data that goes into a decision being made to move forward on a particular road, intersection, location, and so on, but yes.
Right. But like I said, it's condensed. A lot of cutouts in that one little area. And
made it clear and very well prepared. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you very much.
This evening.
Have a good evening.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president, please?
Good evening. My name's Jay Goldberg, 182 Fern Road. I'm living on one side of Fern Road or the other for next month. It'll be 50 years. And we're here, my friends, my neighbors, our Fern Road residents, just to support this. We're pleased and happy that the council has decided to change the speed limit from 35 to 25. Our concern is enforcement. So as I said, living on Fern Road for this long, I've seen it all there. And since the pandemic, driving habits have changed. And people are driving really much faster and with much less care for safety. And that's my observation. I'm sure many of you have seen it too. Fern Road has become dangerous. I'm a cyclist. I'm a lifelong cyclist. And I'm able to track how fast cars are going by the telephone poles. From one telephone pole to the next, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000 is 30 miles per hour. And we have people pretty much going 50 and 60 and even faster on Fern Road. So our concern is that, yes, this is a wonderful thing to bring the speed limit down. It's great for safety for the road and the neighborhood. But if there's no repercussions, if people know they can just fly down Fern Road, they will. So I'm asking what can be done for enforcement and, talking to the police department and getting that support that we need to make the road safe.
Okay, thank you.
But we appreciate everything that you do. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wishing to speak to the council on this matter? Sir.
My name is Mike Jacobs. I'm at 176 Fern Road. And I also have been living, actually, in this house for 46 years. And over the past number of years, especially in the beginning, there were a lot of, young kids there. Kind of like it's changing over right now, but now it's going back to the kids. And I've had many conversations with many of the officers that used to do spot checks on with their cameras, with their speed cameras. This is probably mostly before pandemic. After pandemic, it was I saw very little enforcement. I've always had conversations. One of the conversations I had was that they were reconsidering cameras with the state of New Jersey. They were going to do something about that on Fern Road. Nothing ever happened to that. My other concern is the priorities that traffic safety has for this type of for speeding vehicles, because especially since October 6th, where the police are being also used, rightfully so, to help guard and protect the religious institutions. And now with all the construction, there's a lot of police that's being utilized for that, for protection of various things, and also for, I guess, road construction and whatever they do for that. And I haven't seen any kind, and I'm there all the time. I'm retired. I used to see them every so often. I don't see any enforcement. And I think to be honest, I think it's ridiculous to have a law which takes effort to write up and say, hey, we're going to lower the speed limit on a third of a mile of Fern Road, when I see nothing at all about enforcement of existing laws. And you need to enforce things. People now know that. I've had cars pass me on a double. I can't go 25 or 30. I have to go like
Mr.
30.
Jacobs, I hear what you're saying, but this particular resolution has to do with the law being changed from 40 degrees, from 40 miles per hour to 25. Not for you to make a commentary on the police department and what they're doing or what they're not doing. So keep your comments to.
Why was this changed to a consent agenda?
This is not. We're not doing a give and take.
The question is. Right. You went from a regular agenda to a consent agenda to a regular. Consent agenda means it's normally a simple type of thing. You can do 9 or 10 things.
We're talking about an ordinance, sir.
Right.
We're not on consent agenda.
I know that, but it was changed.
No, it wasn't.
It said before in one of the things that went from a regular thing to a.
No, it was a first reading and a second reading
The first
tonight.
was never on a consent agenda.
No.
Okay. Then that's my error.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll just, again, we're trying to keep this. We're not here. I'm not going to allow you to comment and let's just say bad.
Let me ask you.
We're not going into a dialogue between you. Make your comments, Mr. Jacobs, and then that's it.
If I make a comment, would anybody consider talking to the?
We will take it into consideration, just like the previous gentleman. It'll be considered. Thank you. And I've heard you. I've heard what you've said with regard to law enforcement.
Does our panel think that that's an important thing to do about enforcing the existing laws on Fern Road for the speed limits? Can I ask you that?
No, we're not. Again.
Oh, you're not allowed to discuss
this is
that?
It's not an exchange. I'm giving you the right to speak. It's not an exchange between you and I.
Well, thank
you and
you
the mayor,
very much
you and
for the
council.
right to speak. Okay. Thank you all.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president on this matter? Close the public portion.
Council President.
Please.
Just for clarity,
Yes.
there were statements made about where our law enforcement is being used since October 6th and in traffic jobs and all of that. Joe, can you please, I'd like to ask our business administrator to please explain that these are not our everyday patrolmen that are doing
If
these.
it's okay with the chair,
Yes.
I'll be glad to mention it. Yes, construction jobs are outside employment. These are not our regular patrolmen that are on for that particular day. They work a 4-on, 4-off schedule. PSE&G, the county in this case, where Cranberry Road is doing the light. So when they're not on their normal 4-on shift, they these companies, the county or the township or the state or any business could hire an officer to work what is known as quasi outside employment. So there is no police officers that are on the township's dime working a construction job for PSE&G, the county, a shopping center, demolition, whatever. So if you think that's the case, you're incorrect. There's always a certain amount of officers. There's what is known as minimum manning. I will tell you this mayor has added additional police officers since he came into office this year. And I will tell you, Fern is on a normal rotation with all the other roads in town that have enforcement needs. Naturally, calls for first aid, fires, they all take priority. So you may not see them, but you're not at the window 24/7. We get emails from various people, different sections of town. I talked to Lieutenant Gordon. I know the rotation. I'm not going to tell you the rotation because I don't want you to know when they're going to be there. But if you come here this morning, you will see 60 or so joyous residents and other people who've gotten a ticket and had to come to court. So come any Monday when there's traffic court, and you can see them here. So if you don't think the police department is doing their job, I think if you come and tell those people, they would disagree with you. About speed cameras, they're against the law. There is no such thing in the state of New Jersey to put a camera up to enforce speed or 4-ton weight limits or trucks. This is a misnomer because people watch the New York news and they think that they could be up. In New Jersey, no red light cameras, no speed cameras. Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome. Mr.
Thank you.
Good.
No.
No. We're still on, I did close the public portion. We are still on 24-19. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Let's move on to our report section of our meeting. Mayor Cohn?
Thank you, Council President. A couple of quick things. First, I'd like to offer my thank you on behalf of the Township to the Department of Parks and Recreation and our police department for putting off another 4th of July presentation that was safe, enjoyable. There was a lot of food and opportunities for people to enjoy themselves, not the least of which was the first time ever that we had all of the music for the fireworks being done and performed by our own East Brunswick Symphonic Orchestra, which was phenomenal. And I think most people would agree that we have one of the nicest fireworks shows, I think, in the region. So it was really, really nice. And most people got in and out of there fairly quickly, considering that there was about 10,000 people leaving exactly 2 exits at virtually the same time. So within a very short period of time, the roads were clear and people were out. And while you might have had to take some circuitous routes to get home, but it was done in a safe manner, and I think most people had a great time. Second, I know most people have heard about the fact that we're putting an ice rink together on the property by Legacy right off of Cranberry Road behind Lowe's. Those bids were supposed to have been open the beginning of this month. They had to be delayed by 2 weeks because there were some questions that some of the potential bidders had on the bidding documents, and so those documents had to be changed just enough that it warranted us extending the time to open it. That will be next week. So I look forward to being able to present to all of us in the township and this council those individuals who won the bids. As you know, there are 2 separate bids, one for the ice component and then the other bid for the remainder of the rink itself. We separated it out because we wanted expertise in ice for the most important part of an ice rink, which is the ice. And then finally, just wanted to announce to everybody that the East Brunswick Police Department started their junior academy this week. So I went to see some of the high school students that are participating this year. It's a great program every year. They get to learn not only about law enforcement, about the things that our police do, and about law enforcement principles, but I think that they learn to be better citizens. And as we all know, security and safety in this township, we rely on our police, but they can't be everywhere. There's only so many of them. They can't be on every road. There's 180 miles of road in this township. They can't be on every single one of them at the same time. People are clearly flying through streets. It's just the world that we're living in today, whether it's everybody knows the cut-throughs, it's the work being done on Route 18. There's just a million reasons people just are distracted with their cell phones or whatever they're doing, but the world has changed. We recognize that. Unless we're going to double the size of our police department, and that still isn't going to guarantee you're going to be on 180 miles of road at the particular time that somebody's going to be breaking the law. We just have to make the best with what we have, and we rely on everyone else to be looking out for one another. And I think that's what they're getting most out of this week in the junior academy. So I wish them success. And anybody that would like to come to their graduation, which will be Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock at the high school, is welcome to come. So that's my report this evening.
Thank you, Mayor Cohen.
Thank
Our
you.
Business Administrator, Mr. Crisculo.
Sure, I just wanted to put some clarity around the bamboo ordinance. So just so this gentleman and the members of the ordinance in TV land understand that this is up for second reading. Then it has what is known as the 20-day estoppel period after publication. Publication will probably be Thursday, Friday, or Saturday of this week. So take that day, add 20 days onto that. That's when the law goes into effect. That's the way ordinances work, because an estoppel period allows people that maybe aren't happy with the ordinance to come in and voice their concern against it. So I just want to set that expectation. Once a violation is going to be issued, they get 60 days to remediate it. So I wanted to make sure people have their level set on that. So it's going to take at least another 25 days to pass it. When we issue them their notice, it's not going to be overnight. They do get 60 days to remedy it. If they don't, they could get a summons, and the fine is determined by the judge on 4 days a week in this courtroom, anywhere from $250 to $2,000. So it's not an easy penalty. So we're being kind with people to say, hey, get this resolved, but once, if you ignore it, you're going to have to pay the penalty. So I just wanted to make sure everybody had a level set with that. Other than that, thank you to the team of employees here that worked on July 4th and the cleanup from them and everything else they do. They do a fabulous job, and I'm really proud to be the administrator here with working with these people. So thank you to them.
Thank you, Mr. Crisculo. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Iacoca.
There's nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Our Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful.
There is nothing to report.
Council members, any committee or board reports? Councilwoman Zambicki.
Thank you. So at our January 17th Recreation Parks Advisory Board meeting, we discussed the aspects of an inclusive playground that would be under Jake's Law. And it was very exciting because these playgrounds were only, the grants were only given to counties. And we were one of the first townships to apply for it. And it's so exciting that we won that, or we received that grant for $750,000. And as the council, we agreed to do our match portion. So it is totally amazing and exciting, and it will be at Lenape Park, and we are in the beginning phases, but I just wanted, it's good to see a fruition, right? Something that starts off, but also to say how amazing that our township is potentially the first, I'm not sure if any other township applied, but potentially the first township, because it was only a county grant prior to this year. So quite amazing. So I want to thank everybody that helped put that together. I can't wait to see the final result. The East Brunswick Pickleball Club membership, they're doing a membership. It's going to be Wednesday morning and Thursday nights, and there's an amazing tournament on August 9th. Please go to the Parks and Rec website to look at that. Our concert series started tonight, right out in the courtyard. Hopefully you got to hear some of that as you walk through, and goes through every Monday night through August 26th. I also want to congratulate Crystal Springs on their 30th anniversary, 30 years of being open as a premier water park in New Jersey. Actually, if you Google it, it is a premier water park in the eastern portion of the United States. And so proud of that. And we are also ahead of last year's sales for daily and season passes, which is amazing. And another amazing piece, which the mayor alluded to with our symphony orchestra, but we're having an adult strings refresher class that actually starts tonight, and Dr. Anna Braun is a former teacher in the district that is presenting that. And who doesn't want a hot dog, right? National Hot Dog Day on July 17th. Please come by the municipal courtyard from 11 to 2 to get your hot dog. And day camp. Another amazing, we have so many amazing things going on in East Brunswick. Day camp, very affordable camp for our children in East Brunswick. Started last week, and we once again are ahead of our registrations from last year. So there's just a plethora of wonderfulness to celebrate in East Brunswick. So thank you.
You are welcome, a plethora. Councilman Wendell.
As chair of the redevelopment agency, I'd just like to applaud the planning board for the recent passage of the redevelopment zone and adoption of, calling the Edgeboro Road area, near 18 as an area in need of redevelopment, and listening to recommendations from the redevelopment agency about that area. And we look forward to working to try to redevelop those properties. The properties specifically included, and Mayor or Mr. Council President, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's the Motel 6, it's the strip mall right on the corner of Edgeboro and 18, the PNC Bank, the former Jack LaLanne / Bally's, and then there's a vacant piece of property in there as well. So we look forward to getting together and working with people to see what we can do with those areas.
Right, step one. Step one in I'm making this up, a 10-step process. But as Councilman Wendell said, and yes, I am on that committee as well as the mayor is, it's exciting news that in terms of the mayor's master plan for our community, that we are able to begin to move forward in terms of changing the landscape of our community for the better. Mayor, do you want to chime in on this one?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Council President. I think it doesn't come as any surprise that one of the biggest things that we need to do when we look at redeveloping our corridor is the main entrance into East Brunswick is the whole Lomans Corner. So we're spending a lot of time and effort talking about a $500 million project that Vermella or Ed Russo is doing on one side of the highway, which is going to be groundbreaking in terms of changing what the area looks like. And then right across the street is Motel 6 and empty property that any kid graduating today from high school never saw any retail in those buildings. It's pathetic. So the fact that we were able to use the same redevelopment laws that we've used on one side of the highway to try to reinvigorate what's done on the other side of the highway will really, I think, give us the opportunity to make a gateway type of change on the entrance into East Brunswick. So you're right, there's multiple steps. We've learned that in the past, how painfully slow it is to do this work. But if you're slow and steady, you do actually get there. So at this point, that's the first big step that we needed to undertake, and we've done that. So I appreciate everybody that was involved in doing it, listening to developers and property owners make and have their right to present objector cases to the planning board, and they had a million excuses why they're contributing to the township in a meaningful way, but clearly the evidence didn't demonstrate that, and we chose to declare it as a redevelopment zone with the right of condemnation, which simply opens up the opportunity for those developers to come and owners to come to the town and talk about and have a conversation about what that could be turned into that would be significantly better than what's there right now. So thrilled about that.
And a lot was said there, and I'll put a wrap on it by extending kudos to Councilman Wendell, who is the chairman of our redevelopment agency. So he started this conversation by informing the community as to the new things that are developing. I said a few words, the mayor said a few words, but let's spin it back to where it begins, and that's with Councilman Wendell and the work that you have done, Mr. Wendell. Keep it up.
I am just proud to have reviewed these properties with our planners and made the recommendation, having met with the redevelopment agency and making the recommendation to the planning board that these properties be studied in the proper fashion to understand whether they meet the criteria or do not meet the criteria. And we pulled several properties out, the planning board did, that they felt didn't meet the criteria, and the ones that met the criteria were deemed an area in need of redevelopment. And now the next steps begin as to what we determine either developers or the township would like to see on those properties, as we move forward.
Let the games begin.
So.
And I'm now going to open the meeting to the public, and therefore, Ms. Lawful, will you please read our public comment statement?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to address the council president? In the back, this gentleman in the back, please.
Mr. Mayor, Town Council, Mr. President, Tom Ingrasani, Deerfield Road. A few months ago, I asked a question about the mall being sold. Well, it is sold as of last September of '23, and it was 100% occupied at the time, and there's 14 stores not in there no more, and they want to do a complete renovation. Do you happen to know what type of renovation they're going to do?
That has not come before us, Mr. Ingrasini, yet. I've read the same material that you've read.
Okay.
I don't know that what I've read is completely accurate, but there's nothing that's the owner of that property will not come forward to us for some type of change, shall we say.
Yeah, just wondering.
Yeah, we're all wondering.
I mean, Spencer's leaving, I think, in another month.
Right.
And, all right. The other thing I had was on a holiday when there's a garbage pickup, I had mine Thursday. Nobody picked up because it's a holiday. What's the next day you put it out?
Monday. Your next regularly scheduled day.
Okay,
Your next
I thought it was
regularly
a Saturday
scheduled day.
after that. Okay, so that's okay. Now I got that answer. And anybody know anything we could do for Comcast to get a reduction for senior citizens at least? I mean,
That's
it's a monopoly here.
an age-old question that has been before us, but
I know, but they're getting out of hand with their prices.
I'm of the same age as you, Mr. Ingrasini, and I'm not getting any discounts either.
It's terrible. I mean, and then you can't get the Yankee game. You got to watch it on another channel sometimes. I mean, usually that was it. Yes is yes, But they seem to be making a conglomerate of it, and it's not right. And, okay, and I just found out today, too, as of July 1st, EV vehicles are going to be charged $250 per year for registration. And it's going to go up for the next 4 years till it's $290 to register an electric vehicle. I mean,
You know, nothing about that on this level of governance.
I read that today, so, you know, I mean, and they want you to have vehicles by, what, 2032? So, I don't know. The other thing is, being summer school's open now, does that pertain to, you can't make a right turn on school days, no matter if the school is not opened,
Whatever the sign says
in that school area?
in that area as well.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. All right, thank you.
Good talking to Mr. Ingrasini. Anyone else wishing to address the council president?
Yosef Schmidt, Lois Avenue. I just have a question. The redevelopment that is being set up during this, a number, I think it was over a year ago, I asked a question about the laws, about the Mount Laurel laws, and was answered that there are different stages in which the court goes and requires, of New Jersey requires redevelopment. They were talking about this one would end in 2025. I don't know when the beginning of it was, but this group of redevelopments going on, about how many units so far have been approved to be built, and how many are on what's called a pilot program, and what is a pilot program in detail?
Okay, this is not the this is the location for you to make a comment, but we're not here to answer the three questions per se.
Okay, where would I go and ask the
Give
question?
Mr. Crisculo's office a call tomorrow morning.
Last time I was told to call the town council about something was when Stephanie was the president, and I never got a response. In fact, I was kicked out of
Can't
the next
comment
meeting.
on that.
So
I'm getting Kevin McAvoy is now the council
I
president.
know, but I'm just saying.
Just give Mr. Crisculo a phone call.
Okay, this is two town councils before.
There you
Two town
go.
council presidents on. What? Director engineer? Okay.
Call
Yep.
Planning and Engineering. Susan Fine is in charge of that. Most of that data is available on the
Okay.
state's affordable housing website.
So should I go to the affordable housing website, or should I ask Susan? Which is easier to do? you think?
Either way,
Okay.
it's up to you.
And Susan Fine.
Okay.
Remember that name.
Susan Fine. Thank you.
She'll
very
have all
much.
of your answers.
Not really.
This gentleman here.
Spoke earlier. I just wanted the town council's suggestion on what, where the residents of Fern Road should go to in the town to be able to, present their position on what we've seen with speeding.
I would contact the police department.
Yeah, I've done that, and there's been.
Okay.
So in other words, we just go straight to the police department?
Yes.
Is there like a particular,
No, as Mr. Crisculo said, there's a whole process with regard to roads, and the mayor even chimed in with 180 miles worth of roads. And so, there's no diamond
I've done this a
answer.
number of years ago, a couple of times, and I just want to know presently, which is the best way so that we can,
Traffic safety,
The police department.
traffic safety division of the police department.
Okay?
okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council president? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Ms. Lawful, will you please read your mic's off.
Your mic's off, next one.
Ms. Lawful, will you please read our consent agenda statement?
Resolution 24-210 through Resolution 24-221. The following items are considered routine and non-controversial items by the Township Council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on, following the approval of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda.
Does council need any resolutions separated?
Council President,
Yes.
I have a small suggestion for Resolution 220, sorry.
220?
Yes, I'm not sure if you want to discuss it now or you want
Do
to...
you want to
separate-
just chat about it now, or you want to?
Yes, so first of all, I want to thank Hot Air Balloon Management for bringing this event to East Brunswick, which will not only attract our residents, but also attract other residents of the neighboring town. I think this event will bring a lot of traffic to the area, so my suggestion is to the East Brunswick Police Department to place a no parking along street sign by Kingwood Boulevard for those 2 days. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, we did ask the clerk by way of the meeting to contact public safety and, say that you're okay with passing this resolution as long as the police department will put no parking signs on Kingswood Boulevard. Is that what you like,
Yes.
Mr.? So I would ask the clerk just to memorialize that and get it over to Lieutenant Gordon and get back to her if that request can take place. So the approval would be contingent on Lieutenant Gordon's feedback on putting those signs out. Is that okay with you, Tamar?
Will do.
Thank you.
Therefore, may I have a motion for resolutions 24-210 through resolutions 24-221?
So moved.
Second?
Second,
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes, council, we have two ordinances for introduction. Ordinance 2420. Ms. Lawful, will you please read?
A capital ordinance appropriating $3,675,000 from the Sewer Utility Capital Improvement Fund to provide for various sewer utility improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
May I have a motion?
Motion adopted.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Criscuolo, can you address the differences between the two ordinances that we're about to see?
Absolutely. One's for sewer,
Right?
which takes away sewage.
And that's
water,
2420.
And then water is the palatable water that we bring into our homes that we drink.
Okay.
So as you recall, a couple of weeks ago, we passed the ordinance for the township particular items that are capital that we wanted in the budget, vehicles for the police and various other things. Here, we now are asking for monies to do the capital projects in both the sewer and in the water division. You'll see there's appropriation of lining a sewer main on Route 18. It's like $3 million. So that's the lion's share of that. You definitely don't want raw sewage leaking out of your sewer pipe, and nor do we want to have to put in a new one. So we line it from the inside. Shut it down at night, we line it, it doubles the life of the pipe. So that's a major part of it. Then there's other equipment, vehicles, and other things. And if you recall, a couple weeks ago, the force main that's on New Brunswick Avenue, we're going to do a couple 100 feet. It's like $200,000. So we declared an emergency for that. So now I need to pay for that emergency. So that's why you see that there. In the water division, there is a purchase of about $1 million of updating a generator on Cotter's Lane. There's various other updates that we need, and also the buying of a Mason dump truck with a tamping machine and a roller. That's when things we have a water main break. We got to repair the roadway. Naturally, you need a Mason truck and a tamper and various other equipment. And we want to purchase approximately 14 fire hydrants. We keep fire hydrants in stock. And when we buy 14 of them in bulk, we get a better rate because that's what fits on the shipment. So we save a lot of money by keeping them in stock. And it's always inevitable that somebody's going to hit a fire hydrant, or a fire hydrant that are old are going to stop functioning. And we know when one stops functioning because we do hydrant flushing twice a year, where we open and close them. At that particular point in time, we identify hydrants that no longer work, and we bag it, and we put it on the schedule, and we replace it. We keep up with the maintenance of both our sewer and our water system. And you could see that in some of our neighboring towns, they're doubling the cost of their water and sewer. I won't name them, but if you don't keep up with your infrastructure, that's what happens. So my team wants to do that, and I ask that you approve both these ordinances.
Thank you for that dissertation, Mr. Criscuolo, on the subject. I'll get over to the mayor in a second. I just wanted everyone who's in attendance, we have a nice crowd here this evening, to know that there's a combination of this agenda is online and this agenda is hard copied to the town council. so that everything that Mr. Crisculo talked about is mentioned in our agenda. And I just wanted to differentiate between the two ordinances that are brought up for first reading that deal with separate issues. However, it is all water related. Mayor Cohn?
I just wanted to remind the public that the capital items, and council as well, which I'm sure they know, the capital items that you discussed last time and bonded for, that's actually tax dollars that goes to pay for those things. Many of those are things that are very expensive, so you bond for those, and that comes out of tax dollars. When we're talking about the water department, the sewer department, the pool, the parking decks, and our police range, they are individual utilities. Those are paid for by the users. So the water department and the sewer department items that are on the agenda tonight are not coming out of tax dollars. They come out of the water and sewer rates that you pay to the township for running those utilities. They must be self-liquidating, meaning that the users must be paying for that. Public tax dollars does not go to that. So any of those items, the millions of dollars that you're talking about, have been budgeted for in our rate studies, and therefore those expenses were already accounted for in the rates that we pay, but they don't come out of property tax dollars.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Cohn. And Councilman Wendell?
Just to add to what you said, Mr. Mayor, these come out of a capital improvement fund, which is basically a fund that we pay, that the utilities pay into on an annual basis for improvements that grow, such as this, rather than just a one-time rate increase or anything else. These are monies that are set aside on an annual basis, and once they're accumulated to the point that we can do something with them, we use it for the appropriate improvements.
Exactly. I just didn't want people leaving thinking that, oh, taxes are going up to cover a couple $1 million, because that's a separate utility.
Any further comments on this ordinance from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. Ordinance 24-21. Ms. Lawful, please read.
A capital ordinance appropriating $2,025,000 from the Water Utility Capital Improvement Fund to provide for various water utility improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
May I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy.
Yes. For the good of the cause. Mayor?
Yes, I know that at the last council meeting was before the end of the budget year for the state, and I don't know how many people were able to read that on top of the grant that we got for the park, the township was also given a $500,000 grant from the 2025 New Jersey state budget to be used towards the extension of one of the pools at Crystal Springs Water Park, so that it could be a competitive sized swimming pool that our teams at the high school and some of our recreation teams can use, an official size competitive pool. And the goal is also to enclose it with a retractable roof so that we can allow Crystal Springs to become, at least for that portion of the park, ultimately a park that's open all year so that residents can have the enjoyment of an indoor pool all year long.
Exciting news, Mayor.
Very good.
And our high school swim team, both the boys and the girls, when they hear that news, when they watch this exciting video. Go on. Anything else for the good of the cause? I want to thank everyone who came out this evening.
One thing, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Zambicki.
So just real quick, there is a little philanthropic thing going on right now. Former Councilwoman Catrino and TAP Maureen Burzog is doing an Amazon wish list for the New Jersey Army National Guard 3rd Platoon. You can go onto the TAP page and take a look. Some items that they cannot buy, they're stationed in the Middle East, cannot buy over there. So if you can help out, go onto the TAP website and you can see that. And I also just want to thank the Milltown for hosting the parade and allowing us to walk in the parade with them. I think it was the first time in many years that the East Brunswick Police Department has participated, and it was quite amazing. They had, like, you know, the motorcycles, the vehicles, and I don't even know what that.
MRAP.
That was amazing, right? That was out there. So it was an honor to participate in that. I think I can speak for all of us on that, right?
Yeah, that's fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And so all those in favor of adjournment, please signify with an aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good night.
Good night.